Excellent. How many tours will I do a day? Anywhere between 4 to 8. And each of them will be about an hour. And then there's about an hour-long inspections in the morning and an hour-long inspection in the evening, which usually makes between a 10 to 12-hour day for me. That's a lot of money. No complaints. I'm just going to make a radio call real quick and I'll chat with you guys. Here we go again. So it'll be about another 10 to 15 minute drive back. We'll chat about some fun things, crack some jokes. But before we do that, I'm just going to get all the serious stuff out of the way. As I did mention, this glacier is shrinking at unprecedented rates. I believe the term is exponential when I want a grade 9 math. So this is getting smaller and smaller every single year, and the decline is getting quicker and quicker. And that is only due to climate change. I know the Earth goes through a bunch of different cycles here, but it's been proven since the Industrial Revolution that over 98% of the world's glaciers have been shrinking since then at a very rapid rate. And I actually mentioned this earlier, but our glacier here will be completely gone all the way up to the steps as well in 40 to 60 years. That's insane. From a maximum size of 3/4 of the way up the hill all the way out to the Discovery Center, 240 to 260 years later, bye-bye. Pretty sad. Pretty crazy that in some of our lifetimes, one of the world's wonders just like this will be gone. So with all that serious stuff said, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record and super corny by saying this, but everybody can do just a little bit to help reverse the effects of climate change, whether that be buying sustainable products or carpooling or taking massive buses like these ones, or even biking or something like that. Anything, every little small bit helps. So do your part to help reverse the effects of climate change there. And in addition to that, another pretty serious subject that I'll be chatting about. So this grounds here didn't always used to be tour grounds. Oh, back for another dip. Looks a little bit deeper this time. But yeah, these grounds didn't always used to be grounds for touring and for tourists to come and hang out, take pictures, and walk out onto the glacier. These grounds actually used to be sacred ancestral grounds of the Stoney Nakoda people. Now what they would do is they would hold peace pipe ceremonies here with the formerly warring tribes, the Cree and the Blackfoot, and all together they would come together and smoke specially prepared tobacco that was blessed by their ancestors, and they would speak together and pretty much have a peace summit and chat together on different ways how they could live more harmoniously together and exchange goods and just live harmoniously together, as I was saying there. But unfortunately, as I'm sure a lot of you folks have seen, especially for those of you who are Canadian, so many atrocities were performed against the First Nations people, such as residential schools, as well as burning down their homes and forcing them to sign treaties to hand over the land. Well, I'm not telling you to beat yourselves up over the mistakes of our ancestors. I am just bringing it up because I think it's a very important topic to talk about, and just to acknowledge that these things did happen. And these things that happened were truly terrible. With all that being said, they actually came back to the park just 2 years ago and had their first peace pipe ceremony. And they actually had some of the members of Parks Canada there from the upper management, as well as people from Pursuit. And we're actually currently working with them to restore all the original names of the mountains there that were named by them, as well as the lakes and rivers, with the first one being Lake Shinwakta, which is just out the left-hand side. You guys will see it better as we ascend this hill. But I think it's a little bit ridiculous personally that all these European settlers came over and said, oh, I'm just going to kick you out of your land, and I was the first person to have ever been here, so I'm going to name it after myself. That sounds kind of egoistic when you put it that way, doesn't it? Well, with all that being said, Lake Shinwalk, they're coming into view out the left-hand side here, and that's the one that's closest to the road there, not the one that's at the foot of the glacier. And it'll actually connect with a bunch of different river systems known as a braided river, Shinwalk the River, and you guys will actually be able to see that out the left-hand side all the way off to the skywalk. Are you guys ready to go back up? Well, at least you guys are ready. Oh, I'm kidding, I'm good to go. All right, world's slowest roller coaster round 2. Might have to get you to get out and push if we get stuck here. I hope you're familiar with pushing things that weigh 21 tons. You look like a strong guy though. Yeah, that Shinwalk the lake out the left-hand side there, it's that green-looking water. Greenish, kind of tealish. And that's due to something known as rock flour. Rock flour is actually ground up little powderized stone from the tops of the mountain peaks. And the way it occurs is that the glaciers will grind back and forth on it, kind of acting like sandpaper, and will form all this powderized rock. And then it'll join all of our major glacial streams and end up in all the water around here. And it also acts like a selective prism, just like the ice that we were on beforehand. And what it does is it lets out the blue, purple, and green lights. Although it looks super pretty, like a scene straight out of a movie, and you might want to drink the water down there, I highly recommend you do not drink any water that looks like that. Because if you can imagine rock flour, powderized rock, that's what you're drinking, all that sediment and minerals. It's actually known to be an extremely powerful natural laxative. So unless you're real plugged up with nowhere to go and looking to have a miserable day, there's no good reason to drink that water because it will give you the runs. So I'm sure some of you are curious on the bus here, just about how fast it goes and some of the stats and stuff. Do you guys want me to crank it into high gear here and floor it? Yeah? Maybe? Alright, well I'm going to see how fast this guy can go. You guys are going to feel one big lurch, and then the G's will push you back in your seat so hard it'll feel like you're on one of those Japanese bullet trains. It's going to be absolutely unbelievable, so I hope you guys are ready for this one. Alright, we're going to take off here in 3, 2, 1, and just for reference, I am flooring it. Wow, isn't that exhilarating? We're reaching a top speed here of 18 kilometers an hour with only 6 seconds of acceleration. That's like sports car numbers right there. I don't know, if G-forces like that, I think I can handle being an astronaut or a fighter pilot or fighter jet pilot or something like that. These buses are super cool. They're designed in a very particular way. They're all built from the ground up as well. Can I take any guesses on how expensive this bad boy is? Any takers? Give me a shout. 100,000? Not quite. Try on multiplying that a couple times. Any other guesses? 500,000? A little bit higher, keep guessing. 600? You're getting closer. If you double that number, it'll be $1.2 million is what these buses are valued at. And maybe you saw the sticker on the side with the Mercedes-Benz logo there, so I guess you could say I drive a $1.2 million Mercedes, no big deal. No. So yeah, $1.2 million Canadian, which is about what, $20 American for you American folks on board? Canadian dollars, sucks. And each of these tires are custom made. You may have been looking at them on the way in. Yes, they are very, very thick, but not quite as tall as tractor tires. Each of these tires will run you about $7 grand. Kind of makes me want to get the ratchet set out and take one home with me at the end of the year. Make a couple bucks. But yeah, we own 22 out of the 24 of these snow coaches ever produced. You may be wondering where are the other 2? They are down in Antarctica. One is owned by the American military. That's where they go down to do research on Antarctica and the penguins and all the ice down there. And that's what's known as a Terra bus. So it seats only about 10, although it is the same length. The rest of the space will be used as living quarters, as well as a mobile research center that crawls out on the ice. It's quite impressive. And the Australians have one as well. It's exact identical to it. And they came up with some pretty cool names that I'll be sharing with you guys. The Americans named theirs Ivan the Terrabus. That's pretty funny. And the Australians didn't even try, and they named theirs number 2, which is even better. But as I mentioned, only 24 of them ever made, and we own 22. Each of them weighs 21 tons. And if you guys are heading out to the Skywalk, I'm told that we can fit our entire fleet stacked on top of each other like a giant game of Jenga, all out there on that tiny little glass bridge at the Skywalk. So it's quite over-engineered and extremely strong. A couple more things about the Skywalk there. There's a shuttle already waiting for us. That shuttle will pick you guys off and take you guys there straight away. If you guys don't have tickets for the Skywalk or aren't planning to get off there, stay on board the bus and it will take you back to the center. About a 10-minute drive to the Skywalk. Once you guys get there, you'll have between 45 minutes to an hour to meander around and hang out. Should be an incredible view out there as well. You guys will get to see all the way down the valley. I'm personally not so great with heights. I only ever made it out on the glass there once out of the 4 times that I went out, so hopefully you guys are a little bit braver than me.